Yeah, I'm a lifelong Kansas Citian, and I thought it was amazing to see the Kansas City thought leadership community get together, check all their egos at the door, and just really talk from the heart about what Google Fiber and what Gigabit City can mean for our community as a whole. I didn't hear a lot of agendas. I didn't hear individual businesses saying what they would benefit from it or what individuals would benefit from it. I really felt like it was a true collaboration process of a lot of Kansas City thought leaders. And I think what I heard was, which has been just a common theme in Kansas City as a whole, is that really the other wall that was broken down was the border between Kansas and Missouri. I really did hear everybody speaking generally about the community, and it was a huge aha moment. And as someone who grew up in Kansas and now lives downtown here in Kansas City, I loved seeing the fact that we were Kansas City. We weren't Kansas City, Kansas. We weren't Kansas City, Missouri. We weren't Johnson County. We weren't Jackson County. We were Kansas City. We were a community as a whole. You know, it's interesting because, as I said before, I loved the way that everybody kind of checked their ego at the door and didn't make it about them. So I didn't spend a lot of time thinking about what it meant for me. But I think that what gets me really excited is the fact that I think that if Kansas City as a whole, and as the folks that were in this room and all the people that are going to hear the research and the ideas that came out of this, if we go and we execute this, this is going to put our city on the map even more than it already is. And I think it's going to make a smaller city, a city that's intimate, be much larger nationally, to be able to see how we took this amazing technology and put it to use for the benefit of our community. You know, I think that with any technology, I think that anyone that's going to use it needs to embrace the technology. And I believe that we've got to do a really good job of educating everybody within Kansas City about the ways that the technology can be used. And we cannot assume that everybody understands the way the internet works, the pushes and the pulls, and the different pieces of it. We talked extensively in our group about the way that, you know, we can address concerns from any age group in any socioeconomic area in any community in the city, and I think that it's really exciting for me to think about that. I think about my dad, who turned 66 this weekend, and how he uses the internet every single day in his life and how he researches it. But then I also see children. Yeah, I was at a friend of mine's house, actually somebody who was supposed to be here but had a last minute conflict, and his daughter, who is like 6 years old, is using her iPad to be able to access the internet. So you have a 6-year-old child using the internet in one way, you have a 66-year-old father of mine using the internet in a different way, and we need to make sure that we bridge the gap and educate everybody about how to embrace the technology. You know what surprised me, and I actually wrote this on my evaluation, is that we had 2 people in our group from the local libraries, one in Johnson County and one here in Kansas City, Missouri. And I was amazed. I felt personally somewhat ignorant about the way that these facilities are used in today's economy, in today's world. And I know that it doesn't necessarily have anything to do with the topic at hand, but my eyes were opened up. I told the gentleman, the representative from the Kansas City Public Library, I'm going to spend more time in this building. I live just a couple of blocks away. I'm 5 minutes away, and I'm going to spend more time here. This is an unknown treasure in Kansas City that I didn't know was there. I know it has nothing to do with the topic at hand, but I think the facility was amazing, and I'm really proud of the city that I live in because we have facilities like this. I think we made an amazing amount of progress. I'll be honest with you. Last night I opened up my laptop at about 11 o'clock. In fact, I was going back and forth with Mike on Twitter, and I was a little bit frustrated because I felt like I was walking into today in an information deficit. I didn't have the information necessary. I was looking for an agenda. I was looking for pre-materials. I wanted to be prepared for today. I mean, today was a big day for a lot of people, and it was definitely a big day for Kansas City. And I was pleasantly surprised about how the lack of information almost was premeditated. Maybe it was premeditated, from everybody that put this day together, but I was really, really pleased with how we went from an information deficit to a plethora of information, and I really do believe, we had hundreds of ideas that came out of our small group of 8 or 9 people, and I can't wait to see the overall results as they get calculated, tabulated, researched, and put into print. I'd say the thing that I would like to say is that I've sat and I've watched the logistics of this event, and it was a monumental undertaking by a lot of people. There wasn't one person that pulled this off, which I think is the overall intent and the culture of who we are as a community. And I'm really proud of the fact that there's a lot of people probably behind the scenes that we don't even know about that helped pull off this event. And I think that this is monumental. I think that the impact that we are going to experience as a city is going to be something that we're going to be able to tell people for a long time in the future. And I think, as I kind of alluded to earlier, I think that, you know, Kansas City has a little bit of a bullseye on it, and we've got to make sure that we really think through all of the infinite possibilities, and we think big and we think large, and we don't think minute, we don't think pointed, that we think, what impact can this have for our entire community? It doesn't matter who you are, what you do, what you have, what you don't have, what you do for a living, what side of the city you live on, what kind of car you drive, what your title is. It doesn't matter. This can be monumental from a humanitarian standpoint from our community, and I'm excited to see and live out the possibilities of this amazing opportunity.